Y'all know Paris as the city of lights, romance, croissants, Eiffel Tower sparkling at night, but let's be honest, it can be expensive. What if I told you I went to Paris for free and you can too? Let's start with flights. Flights to Paris from Florida are about 8 hours. And for a flight that long and an overnight flight, I want to fly in business class. I flew Air France business class in a lie flat seat and everything from Miami direct to Charles de Gaulle Airport for under $100 in taxes and fees. And you might be wondering, how did you do that? And the answer is the Capital One Venture X card. Now I'm going to start with a disclaimer. Using credit cards to earn points to travel for free only works if you pay off your credit card balance in full each month. So if that's something that you can't do or that you struggle with, I wouldn't recommend this strategy. But if you're somebody who's good at paying off your credit card each month and only putting things on your credit card that you would normally buy, like gas and groceries, then this strategy might be for you. So I got the Capital One Venture X credit card, and when I signed up, they had a sign-up promotion that was 75,000 miles. And what that means is if you spend a certain amount of money on the card within a certain amount of time that they'll tell you when you sign up, you get 75,000 bonus points. Now, on top of that, you get 2 points per dollar for everything you buy on the card. So it was really easy for me to get to 100,000 points pretty quickly with that promotion. I put my gas, my groceries, any utility bills that I can pay via credit card. I put all that stuff on the credit card each month and I pay it off in full each month. Let me say it again louder for the people in the back. I pay it off in full each month. Pretty quickly, I earned 100,000 points and I started thinking, all right, well, how can I use this to go somewhere cool that I haven't been before, like Paris? At the time of my trip, Air France did fly direct from Orlando to Charles de Gaulle, but I know that that's now changing. So I think they're going to be flying from Orlando to Paris 4 times a week. So that's pretty cool. But I only live about 3 hours from Miami airport. So I started looking for flights from Miami to Paris. And pretty quickly I found an outbound flight and a return flight. And both of those were business class seats, which is lie flat, all the champagne you can drink, gourmet food, desserts, sweets, fantastic service. So I booked those flights and that was the first thing I booked for my trip to Paris. And I paid under $100 taxes and fees for the 2 one-way flights. I was anti-annual fee for credit cards for a very long time, but the Venture X changed my mind on that. It does have a $395 annual fee, but all of the credits and bonuses and points that you get offset that easily for me each year. And again, that's only true if you pay your balance in full every month. I'm going to leave a link for the Venture X credit card in the description below in case you're interested in earning your own sign-up bonus. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments below. You'll thank me when you're flying lie flat business class for a long-haul international flight for free. When planning my trip to Paris, I divided it into 2 parts. One part to see the city of Paris and the second part to see Disneyland Paris. I am a Disneyland adult and I'm not going to go all the way to Paris without seeing Disneyland. So for the Disneyland portion of the trip, I paid for my hotel and for my Disney park tickets out of pocket. So I didn't include those in this calculation because I know a lot of people who might be looking to go to Paris and might be looking to go to Paris for free aren't Disney people like I am and might just want to go to the city of Paris itself. So with that, we're going to talk about where I stayed in Paris. I stayed at the Hyatt Regency Paris Étoile for 3 nights, and it cost me just 60,000 Hyatt points and €9. To earn those 60,000 Hyatt points, I opened a, you guessed it, Hyatt credit card, which easily netted me 60,000 points with the sign-up bonus. Unfortunately, Venture X points don't transfer to Hyatt or to Marriott, although you can use Venture X points to pay off travel purchases on your credit card bill. So if you booked a cash stay at the Hyatt or the Marriott, you could pay that off with points on your bill, but that's not the best value. The best value is being able to book a hotel room directly through points and not doing the pay yourself back type option that the Venture X credit card offers. So I booked a 3-night stay at the Hyatt Regency Paris Étoile. I always got that wrong. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. 60,000 points, €9 for city taxes. And with that, I was able to book a club level room. And a club level room includes breakfast, snacks throughout the day, drinks in the evening during happy hour, and like heavy hors d'oeuvres in the evening for dinner. So you really could eat the whole day in your hotel if you wanted to. But you're in Paris, so why would you want to eat in your hotel all day? I will say that I did have breakfast every morning at my hotel, and I would go back to the room in the evening and grab a little snack or a little drink before I went to bed. So it was great to cut down on the cost of snacks and meals and drinks and things like that while I was in Paris. And I actually got upgraded from a twin room to a king room with an Eiffel Tower view, and this view was phenomenal. I watched the sunrise with the Eiffel Tower. I watched the Eiffel Tower sparkle at night from my hotel room window, and it was really pretty epic and pretty awesome and like a great value for this room. I just looked, and if I had booked this room for cash, it would have been about €300 or about 335 US dollars per night. So it was a super good value, especially when you consider the view was fantastic and I had incredible snacks and things like that available to keep my other costs down. And it was super close to a metro station, which is also something you want to consider when you're in Paris. Paris is a very walkable city, but depending on where you are, you may have to take the metro to get to some of the more popular places in the city. And the Hyatt Paris Regency Étoile, whatever word order that goes in, is in the 11th, which is a little bit further out from some of the major sites in Paris, but nothing more than like a 15 or 20-minute metro ride. And the metro is really cheap, which we'll talk about in a minute. So it was a great place to stay. But of course, there are other Hyatt properties and other Marriott properties throughout Paris, and you can definitely use points and miles to book rooms at any of those. As a solo traveler, I'm not going to book a $335 a night hotel room, no matter how great the view is. It's just not in my budget. But using points and miles lets me book an amazing room for very little out of pocket. €9 for city taxes is probably about $12, $13, something like that. So super reasonable for 3 nights of hotel. And it offsets the pricey hotel that I booked while I stayed at Disneyland Paris. But we're not going to talk about that in this video. Another thing you can do to keep costs down while you're in Paris is to use the metro. Taxis and Ubers are very expensive in Paris. I did use one morning when I was going to the Eiffel Tower for sunrise photos, and I just didn't feel super comfortable being on the metro in the wee hours of the morning by myself, and it was very expensive. So I definitely avoided using them at other times from then on. But the metro is, I think, €2.90 one way, or you can buy multi-day passes and things like that to keep the cost down even further. And again, Paris is a very walkable city. So if you book a hotel that's in a more popular area by the tourist attractions, the hotel is going to be a little bit more expensive, but it's going to be a bit more walkable. So it's kind of a trade-off that you want to think about when you're planning your trip, where you want to stay versus how you want to get around. Definitely avoid taxis and Ubers whenever you can, though, in favor of walking and using the metro. One of my favorite tips when I'm visiting a new city is to Google Paris free walking tour, or Rome free walking tour, or Chicago free walking tour. Most cities have free walking tours that are available, and it's just kind of a donation-based thing. You pay whatever you feel compelled to pay at the end of the tour. And those are a great way to learn about the city and get an insider's perspective from a local. So those are great and very cost-effective ways to see the city. Another great money-saving option is free museum days. Many museums offer 1 day a month or 1 day a week as free museum days. So you do your homework in advance of the trip. Think about what museums you want to go to and do some research and see if they offer free museum days. Also, a lot of them will offer, discounts for things like first responders or teachers or any number of things. So if you fall into any of those categories, definitely take advantage of those benefits that are made for you. But if those benefits aren't made for you, then don't use them. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Don't be that person. Another great free thing to do in Paris is to just wander. I spent a lot of time wandering the streets of Paris, taking photos of cute cafes, popping in and having a croissant and a coffee, which are super, super cheap in Paris, walking by the Eiffel Tower and admiring its beauty, having a picnic by the Seine. All of those things are free or cheap. And while you're in Paris, I definitely recommend going to see the Eiffel Tower at least twice. Once during the day, and then go back again at nighttime when the tower is sparkling. Now, you're going to want to check online for the specific timing, but in the evening after sunset, the tower sparkles at the top of every hour for a couple minutes from sunset until I think it's 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. Go online and check their website for the exact times because you won't want to miss the sparkle. It's really super magical and so different than seeing it during the day. The same holds true for other landmarks in Paris, like the Arc de Triomphe and cathedrals and things like that. Yes, you can go inside, most of them, and most of them do cost money to go inside. And whether you choose to do that or not, it's up to you. However, most of them are so beautiful to even just admire outside. And if you're on a really short trip, like a long weekend, seeing them from the outside might actually be all that you have time for. Plan out your itinerary, prioritize the things that it's really important for you to see the inside, or if it's been your lifelong dream to go up in the Eiffel Tower, then do that, but then just go see the Arc de Triomphe from the base and don't go up in that. It's all down to a matter of what your priorities are, where you want to allocate your budget. When it comes to food, yes, Paris has fantastic food, but it can add up pretty quickly price-wise. So as I said earlier, I definitely had breakfast every morning at my hotel since it was included in my room rate. And then instead of having big fancy sit-down meals, particularly as a solo traveler, I ate at little cafes and little coffee shops. I stopped in for a croissant here and there. I had a little sandwich from a market. I stopped in and got cold cuts and a baguette and had a little picnic by the Eiffel Tower. All of those things are much more affordable, but still delicious ways to enjoy Parisian food and not break your budget. So maybe if you want to have one fancy special Michelin star dinner during your trip, yes, it's going to cost you a pretty penny, but then you can offset it by having other smaller little bites here and there. And like I said, if you have a hotel where you've booked the room and you've got club level privileges like I did at the Hyatt, that's a great way to get snacks and breakfast and things like that while you're there and save a little bit of money. So here's what I actually spent on my trip to Paris, not taking into account the Disneyland Paris portion of things. Flights, $100 in taxes fees. Hotel, €9 in city tax. Food and drinks, maybe around $150 or $200. And that was for a 3-night, 4-day trip in Paris. Traveling to Paris or other amazing destinations like that can be expensive, but if you strategize and use credit card points and miles wisely, it doesn't have to be. Make sure to pick a good travel rewards credit card, and don't forget to use that card while you're traveling because most of them have no foreign transaction fees. Don't forget to hit the sign up bonus. Mark that date on your calendar and know how much you have to spend by that date to make the sign up bonus. Use points with airlines and hotel partners to book free or cheap flights and hotels. Also, you want to travel off season or midweek if you can to get the best deals. And the biggest tip of all is don't carry a credit card balance ever if you can avoid it. So if Paris is on your bucket list, start planning today. Look for a great credit card with a great sign up bonus. Don't forget the Venture X is going to be linked in the description below. Start earning those points and start planning your dream trip today. Pretty soon, you could be sipping champagne in business class for free like I did. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button down below. And leave a comment. Let me know where your dream travel destination is. And subscribe for more great travel content. Au revoir!